All right, guys, welcome to the Mike podcast show. Uh, as my listeners or fans, I don't know if I call you fans, listeners, people that tune in to my podcast. I've done some rebranding, and it was Let Me Clear My Throat. And our first guest for Let Me Clear My Throat was Mike Reginald. And so our first guest for the rebrand is again Mike Reginald. How ironic is that, huh? It's very unique. Glad to have Mike Reginald back with us. Uh, first, first time he was with us, we talked about the FedEx St. Jude in Memphis, and how big of a deal and how important it was for uh, just the city to represent itself and just the tournament in general and how successful it was. And today we're going to talk about the Ryder Cup and a variety of different things: college football, Memphis Tigers, and we're going to start off with the Ryder Cup um, as our main subject, main topic for this podcast. And first of all, Mike, just how you doing? How was your day? And anything you want to get off your chest before we start?
Well, thank you again for having me on. I appreciate it. Day's been very busy. I had my dad's 80th birthday today, so I went over and had lunch with him, my mom. Then had a couple of softball games for my daughters. So it's been a full day.
Awesome.
Trying to keep up with like everything going on as well with the Ryder Cup and football as
Yeah.
well. But yeah, had a very full, fun day.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, again, we're glad to have you with us to talk Ryder Cup and some football. So, in summary of the Ryder Cup, um, United States, the first 2 days, starting on Friday, they were pretty much dominated the first 2 days. Um, were down, but they believe in themselves, remain positive, and they fought back today. Europe had a 12-5 lead, I believe, going into Sunday singles matches. And with a huge rally, uh, Europe needed every point pretty much in order to pull away with the win, 15-3. The fans were definitely engaged in the Ryder Cup as always. This is a very exciting event for the Ryder Cup being at Bethpage, um, and the with the world, the U.S. They've won a couple of the previous Ryder Cups. So Ryder Cup is the All Star game of golf, U.S. versus the world. Talk to us about the uniqueness of the event and just the confidence that you saw the U.S. show on the final day of
Yeah.
uh, of the tournament.
Yeah. I mean, it only happens every 2 years. US versus Europe. Um, and like it's a team event, which you don't see very often on tour. Even just match play is very rare. So there's a
Yeah,
little bit of that, a little bit of team four ball, team play on Friday, Saturday. But yeah, it's unique because you don't see a whole lot of team golf when it comes to professional golf. And so it's been kind of a very intense rivalry against Europe throughout the
yeah,
years, especially lately. It's become kind of the home game. Whoever is hosting every 2 years is typically the team that wins. And so Europe, it was hosted in Rome 2 years ago. They won. Um, and they wanted to prove something this year by winning on U.S. soil.
on the road.
Yeah, exactly. Which is it's very rare these days, especially when the U.S. was favored on paper. So like it's a great event. It's the biggest event in professional golf, especially like any team event, like by far the biggest. But it's the biggest event in golf.
Yeah, very exciting, very engaging event. They want, like you said, the world wanted to take on the U.S. at home and bring home the cup. And the Ryder Cup, with it being the biggest event, there just didn't seem like a lot of publicity, at least from my point of view. Uh, just advertising the event. We have worldwide leader in sports, ESPN. We have so many media outlets. We have so many channels that had the opportunity to, I guess, promote in a massive way. I guess, and we just didn't see it. I didn't see it. What is your perspective on it? Do you think it was advertised enough?
I think in golf circles it was, but if you're not seeing it and you're even into golf, then that means they're not doing enough to get it outside of the golf circle. Because it is the biggest event in golf, and it only happens every 2 years. We host it every 2 years. Europe hosts it every 2 years. It's a huge event in golf
Yeah,
circles. But if no one else is hearing about it, that means there's definitely a problem that
yeah,
needs to be addressed, and someone needs to sit down and figure out why
yeah,
is the community outside of golf not hearing about this.
yeah. Because I honestly really didn't catch a Ryder. I didn't really see a Ryder Cup commercial for most of the leading up to the event. And I watch ESPN all the time, pretty much every day. But there was no, we're only talking about, and if even if it was on ESPN, you know, you only saw maybe 10 seconds out of a 20, out of a 24-hour day,
Yeah.
maybe one or two times. So there's not a lot of talk about it. There's no definitely no talk about it on shows like First Take or even Get Up. There may be a small segment here or there, but I mean, it being the All Star Game, the Super Bowl of sports, every 2 years on America's home turf, it's
Yeah,
kind of
it
disappointing.
being in New York as well. Like
Yeah,
Bethpage Black, where they hosted the tournament,
yeah,
is like the number one, like New York course, public
yeah,
course. So yeah, that should be blasted everywhere.
in a major market, in a major market. It just seemed like there was a whole lot of things. I know NFL seems king, and just college football in general seems king, but I mean the Ryder Cup is exciting. It's really an exciting event, and it just feels like a lot of people missed out on you know either watching the event unless you were in golf circles.
Right.
If you play golf all the time, and of course you're going to be tuned in, you're going to be dialed in. I know for a fact, I'm pretty sure every golf course today had the Ryder Cup front and center all weekend,
Oh yeah.
all weekend, every day. You know, um, and so, but the event happened, and on Sunday is most most people tune in uh, on Sundays. When it's on Peacock or NBC to check uh, to tune in. But uh, it kind of goes to when we talk about publicity. Who is advertising for the sport? Because, like you said, it is a problem. And do you see any superstars? Although Scheffler is number one, it seems like Rory McIlroy is like the premier superstar face of the sport. How do you see it?
Yeah, I would say undoubtedly. Rory is the face of the sport. Scheffler is the best. He
Yeah,
he is by far the best player. He is a great person. He has a great personality. He does
yeah,
not have the personality to promote the tour. Um, he's not a Tiger. He's
yeah,
not a Rory. And Rory right now is not as good as Scheffler, but he is going to be the face of the tour because he has that personality to push it. Um, Scheffler is the best thing we've seen since Tiger, and he does a great job, and he does promote the tour very well. He's just not that personality that's going to spark a whole lot of interest outside of the sport of golf. So we don't have those personalities like Tiger and Phil, Nicholas Palmer. So right now they've got to figure out who's next. Morikawa is a great person, and he's been a good figure for the game. He's got to get his game back up to where it has been in the past. But he's one of those guys that could be the face for the tour going forward. Um, there's like Sam Burns, another good example of someone who has been a great player, and if he gets his game back up, could be a fantastic personality. But there's so many guys that have been up there and kind of dropped back, but there's no real face other than Rory right now.
yeah. I think I agree. I think Rory is the face of the sports, and Scheffler is the number one player in golf. I just remember a time where there are so many personalities that there were. We had was it Verjagas that uh, would always crouch down,
Mm-hmm.
on the green, and uh, everyone would talk about Sergio and his shortcomings. Like Fleetwood,
Yeah,
with him coming in second. Everyone, of course, would talk about Nicholson. So there was more stories. Maybe maybe golf is lacking the the journalism or publicity from maybe in that standpoint, where it's scaled back, where we're not looking into a golfer's life, or on a more national stage, but on a PGA tour, PG on the PGA channel, you have tournament stories, things. Golf is always being played or watched, and maybe
yeah,
that needs to change.
yeah. There's also a divide.
Maybe the journalist.
There's the divide between PGA Tour and Live Golf. Um, so you've got incredible players like John Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau,
Oh yeah,
Brooks Koepka, and they're no longer in front of people every day. Um, they're on a tour that is drawing fans, but not the fans that are watching golf every single week and following the Ryder Cup. Um, so like there's 5 to 10 guys who are incredible personalities that could be a huge draw to golf that aren't being seen because they're on Live.
yeah,
They're being seen, but not at the level they could be, and they're uh, golf has to come to a place where it comes together. Right now, there's a divide,
yeah,
and
yeah,
there's players that aren't getting seen that should be seen, um, and that doesn't help the game as a whole, especially when it comes to Ryder Cup. Like what Bryson did was incredible. The way he earned a spot on that team, getting
yeah,
points that like he only had a few opportunities to get, and he still earned his way on with like a tenth of the opportunity of everyone else on tour. That tells you how good of a player he is and how much he wanted it. And he was an incredible asset to this team. And what he did today was incredible. Like he is a great player. He's a great personality. He's great for the game. Would love to see him get the attention he deserves.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, going forward, it will get better. Um, I was going as a follow up, I was going to ask if Liv has hurt the game or helped the game, and I think I mean, obviously, money is king. People tend to gravitate toward the money and everything, and Live doesn't advertise at all. As far as what they do, um, but they have a good roster of players that play in tournaments and things, and they're just not no longer associated. So there is a divide between Live and the PGA, and it is hurting the game. But back to the Ryder Cup, day one, Europe they take the lead, and just want you to put your captain's USA captain's hat on. And so, what adjustments needed to be made in your opinion for day two? Do you stick with your game plan, or how crucial is day one and day two? Because day two, Europe was upset.
Yeah, I don't think you can adjust your game plan based on how they did because U.S. played very well. Um, I do not blame Keegan Bradley. I
Yeah,
don't blame players. They just got outplayed. Europe
yeah,
played so incredibly well, and I didn't see anything the U.S. was doing wrong. They just were not playing up to the level that Europe was.
yeah.
There might have been too much want to for U.S.
Uh
and
huh.
I think Europe came into this Ryder Cup knowing what they had to do, and they prepared for it. I think the U.S. wanted to, and I know they prepared. I'm not saying they didn't. I'm just saying I think Europe wanted it more. Um, I think the U.S. wanted to, but they didn't want it more.
Yeah, I kind of get that sense. Got that sense too. Them being home, field advantage. The world of European players for years, and I think in every sport have heard pretty maybe their whole entire lives that the U.S. is better at everything, and so this is their opportunity to show everybody or show the United States that we're here also. So you know that's just it's competing, and like you said, I think the U.S. they wanted it, but Europe wanted it more, and
Yeah,
that's you know the, is golf measured by luck or pure skill? Because golf is, I mean, you guys are good. I mean, the way you guys, the discipline that a golfer has or needs to hit the ball, to get the ball, in the hole to the green. I mean, it's hard to measure or make adjustments in a tournament when all of you are good at what you do. You know, like how do you match up? You study, I guess, if a player's timid or not, and you say, okay, we're gonna put this golfer with that golfer because such and such is their weakness, or they're distracted by this, or uh, this golfer is weak at this, and or this player is intimidated by this player. It's an even playing field, because you're competing against yourself pretty much on the course.
yes.
But single matches they are intense and with a lot of pressure. Scheffler, he was 0 for 5 until today, and he's great, and we know he tried, did his best. But which would you say is tougher? Is it tougher being on an individual or as a team?
Definitely a team, uh, because you do not want to let your partner down.
Yeah,
When you're playing individual, it's fine if you lose. You don't want to lose. Don't get me wrong. But
yeah,
when you are paired with a partner, not only do you lose, but your partner loses too. So you
yeah,
let yourself and them down. So that is definitely harder, and there's more pressure because if you hit a bad shot, you're like, "That was my bad." Now go dig me out of this hole because I put you in it. But yeah,
yeah.
yeah, being losing on a team is tough. So that's definitely harder than playing individual.
Do you think we need more tournaments that are Ryder Cup style, like just throughout the tour?
I would say absolutely, but the problem is the format. It's not great for sponsors, because viewership is not as good when it comes down to like a match play style tournament. It's not because you don't have as many players. There's not as much going on. So it's tough. Yes, I would like to see it more, but when it comes down to it, the numbers don't add up. So it's one of those things that it's hard. And it would be great if the U.S. could get into more style of that. It would help the team going forward, but I don't see how it would happen.
It it would be great if the college game was more was on TV more. I mean, even on ESPN three or uh, whatever channel, these golf teams, they compete as teams all the time, or sometimes they're scoring. Uh, when it comes to tournaments, is paired together. Paired together, it'd be great if they showed or took more opportunity because we don't hear that anymore either. You
Yeah,
know,
I will say
um,
the golf channel is doing a very good job of starting to add more college golf to the programming, um, because it is during their slow season so college golf is in the fall and spring. So it's kind of during the slow professional golf season. So they are putting more programming on, which should help. And they've got also like a pathway for college golfers to get on tour through their performance, which is amazing. I've wanted that for a long time.
yeah, I think that'd be good because I mean, I know I always heard in SCR it was Texas, and that was
Yeah.
primarily because one player. I'm not going to give his name out, but he would always come and have lessons, and so we would see him all the time. So it was like you have all these, and then we had scrambles, from different schools occasionally, if I remember correctly. That were pretty cool too. Be good. I think it's an opportunity for golf on a national stage to be on ESPN, PGA, just you know different channels. There's so much money in golf. It's just hard to understand why it's not on TV enough or
Yeah.
more. Um, I don't know. I just think it could be better. I just because it's golf is just a great sport.
It is. And
I
I would
don't
have
know
a
how else to describe it. I mean, it's pure skill. I mean, we make it fun. I know we put like, we have places like Top Golf. You got your play golf and games. You have all these different venues where you're hitting the ball and things like that. But I mean, just the exposure of it all. Uh, I think people really young fans, would really enjoy the sport if they knew that it was available to them.
Right.
It kind of brings me to when you're in like high school, like how do you get recognized as by a college? I'm wondering like how does is there a transfer portal, of college golfers or golf teams? How do golf coaches or college golf coaches connect with high school golfers? How did they get attention or get that golf scholarship?
Yeah, I think, well, for me, I was homeschooled growing up, so I didn't play high school golf, which is kind of like the biggest way to get recruited, that and junior tours. Because college coaches look at high school state tournaments very heavily, especially when I was growing up, at least. Um, so for me, I made videos of my swing and I sent that in a letter
Mm.
to any coach I could think of that I wanted to go to around me. Um, I don't know how many I sent out. It was a lot. But just competing as much as you can in junior
Yeah,
tournaments. And then if you're playing for your high school, playing as well as you can in events and making it to state. That's how you get seen. But just write letters to coaches, tell them your resume, tell them your goals, send them a video of your swing. Hopefully, it's better than mine. Um, but that's what I did. And eventually, like, I had a few schools I could have gone to. I wanted to stay, like, I didn't want to stay home, but that was the best fit for me. Um, and so I walked on and got a scholarship after my first semester. So that was very good for me. But yeah, just get in front of as many coaches as you can and let them know what you're doing.
it's a lot of hard work. It's a
It
lot
is.
of work. That is a lot of work. I mean, and I know. I mean, basketball players, football players. You do it all the time. They have their YouTube videos and YouTube highlights. They saying it's a lot harder now, of course, with the transfer portal and NIL being so dominant in college sports now. But I often wonder, if you're a golfer, how do you get recognized by a school like University of Memphis or University of Texas or any school, major school, to University of Tennessee? How do you get that coach's attention for him to come and maybe visit or go to a tournament and you get recognized. And like you said, I guess the only way is to play as many tournaments as you can, and that's why golf instructors are so important too, because they can connect with different schools and different teachers and golfers, golf college golf teams to connect the youth to these schools and have opportunities.
Yeah, I think that's what it like. Just get in contact with as many people as you can. Um, and all it takes is one good tournament or performance, and someone's going to see you. If you have a coach that knows how good you are, he's going to tell other people that he knows. And he can be a reference. If you're trying to get on with a school, you can use him as a reference. But honestly, just do everything you can to get out in front of people and show them what you can do. And it takes one good performance and you could be in. That's all it takes. Just keep going at it and do your best every time.
Yeah. So how do you assess Charlie? And I know this is not a question that, you know, Charlie Woods, Tiger Woods' son. I found it entertaining when they would play together. And I know Tiger Woods is who he is, and then he's gonna get he's gonna get the camera and everything. But how would you assess Charlie's game? You think he has a shot to be the face of PGA if he wants it?
Charlie could be as big or bigger than his dad if he can get there. And I hope to goodness he does because he is good already. I hope that passion he has right now continues because he could be incredible because he has in his dad the most intense golfer that's ever played. And if
Yep.
he has even most of that, not even all of that, he's got the game to be a great player and he could be the face of the tour for a long time because he already has game. He's an incredible player and everyone loves him already. Everyone wants him to be good. So
Yeah.
you've got everyone backing him. And if he can just continue to be as good as he is now and move it forward, it would be one of the best things ever for golf because everyone loves Tiger and they want Charlie to be Tiger. And he
Yeah.
absolutely could be. And I hope it happens because I am rooting for it. He is
Yeah.
already a good player and everyone's rooting for him.
I am too. I mean, I think he's box office right now. Yeah, because the minute he's on ESPN, I don't care if he misses a cut. If he's playing, most of the time there's going to be a camera somewhere,
Yep.
um, following him around. And I mean, he's already, like you said, he's been impressive already so far. So I do hope that he emerges as one of the top golfers in the game. And I mean, do you think Tiger Woods is done?
I think on the competitive stage for PGA Tour and majors, yes. I hope he plays on the Champions Tour um, because he could compete there easily. But I don't think we're going to look at any majors down the line or any tour wins either.
Yeah, yeah. It's really unfortunate, uh, just with everything that happened in just the downward spiral after the accident and his personal life and things like that. Just kind of just seemed to take control or take over uh, at that point. But yeah, golf has always and will continue to have a bright future, and we're always going to have um, a star or superstar in the sport that or a face in the sport, and so um, I think golf is in good hands, especially with Scheffler. He's going to be dominant for a long time as long as he continues to play at the level, and I think Charlie's going to be coming right behind him once as he continues to grow and become of age. I don't know how old he is, but I assume he's approaching college.
Yeah, I think he's around 15.
Probably not too far. He's what?
I think he's around 15, somewhere around there.
Okay. But yeah, I think Charlie's gonna do well whenever he gets deep into tournaments. Eyes are definitely gonna be on him. And it may come I think it'll come at a time where golf really needs it.
Yeah, and it'll be good. It'll
And
be that face.
it will, yeah. I think viewership will definitely surge and spike up as soon as you have somebody last name Woods, in the as the forefront in the sport. So we give kudos to the world and Europe and their Ryder Cup win, and we also I give kudos to the United States and their team. They really fought hard today, and that was really impressive. They believed in themselves. They never counted themselves out, and I think it just goes to the spirit of the sport. Goes to the spirit of our players. They're never out of it. Um, you're never out of a golf tournament until it's over, until it's over, until the last hole.
Yeah.
You never underestimate the lead because United States definitely could have won today. Definitely had a shot, had a chance to win, and it would have been dubbed as the greatest comeback ever, probably.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, but it would be an amazing storyline to be down that far below, that far going into day two, and then to storm back in amazing fashion in day three with the singles. So kudos to Americans. Congratulations to Europe. We will be back, and I believe we will show out in the next go round, and I believe that the fans will behave ourselves and do a little better with
Hope
the
so.
with the whole bantering of players. There's no you know there's no place for whatever the Europe experienced, um, and whatever Rory said was unacceptable that was said on the course, which I believe, because we know how fans can be and
Mhm.
how close fans. I mean, golf is probably what the closest you can ever get to an athlete.
Yeah.
Closer than basketball, for sure. Where you can actually touch the athlete. So and golfers, they hear everything because the course is sacred. It's quiet. It's church. So hopefully the fans, which it will be in Europe next year. I don't think it hasn't been decided where it's going to be played. I don't believe yet, but um, I'm sure the European fans are going to cheer for their team, and we'll be right there ready, and we'll compete and want it more now that we have plenty of ammunition and motivation going on their home turf in 2 years. But we're going to go ahead and transition to the Memphis Tigers. As you can see, I have my Tiger blue on. I'm excited about the Tiger football program. What's your assessment of Coach Silverfield and the Tiger football program so far?
Well, I have been really impressed with Silverfield and what he's done, especially this year. It's been exciting to watch because traditionally Memphis football isn't like a top tier program, but it's been really good for the last few years, and it's been fun to watch. And I've been like really excited. I don't get to the games a lot now, but I try to watch every chance I get. Um,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just been fun. Like it really has. It's fun to watch a winning program year after year, and he's done a fantastic job.
yeah. I agree. I mean, Silverfield's done a great job. Uh, it is really disturbing and frustrating kind of to hear people complain about. If he loses 2 or 3 games, and I remember when the Tigers weren't winning anything, especially after D'Angelo, because D'Angelo was my first year when I first moved here. It was D'Angelo's year, and everybody, of course, was all hyped and excited and everything when he was here. And then everyone turned on. It just went from good to bad, and then we have Norvell. We have I can't remember the other coach
Fuente.
came. Yeah, Fuente. Yes, Fuente, Norvell, and now we got Silverfield, and he's kind of just carried the torch, playing these SEC opponents: Ole Miss, Mississippi State, beating those programs. Now Arkansas, and then we beat Florida State at Florida, in Florida, and then we had some Big 12 victories versus Iowa State and West Virginia, who we've really been sticking it to, because they turned down our offer to join their conference. Um, how important are these wins and being able to schedule these opponents?
I mean, they're huge. We're not in the biggest conference there is by far, and we keep trying over and over again. Um, and the fact that we can consistently win against like SEC schools, ACC schools, that just proves to the rest of the country that we can be in those conferences and win against those teams. We've done it year after year. So, like, if we could move into one of those conferences, we could be a big time school when it comes to recruiting,
Yeah,
moving up in our standard of how people view us. Um, but we like it's just a matter of time because we keep getting these quality wins and we keep bringing in great coaches. Every time we lose one, I am devastated. And the next one we bring in, I'm excited about, and they do well. And then they do so well, they move on to a bigger school. But we could be a big school here if we could just hold on to the right coach and move into the right conference.
yeah. I think we're definitely heading in the right direction. And hey, we beat Arkansas, and I wanted to go on. I wanted to tweet this out. That was like, okay, guys, you know, as soon as we lose a game, don't be on this fire Silverville rant. We're winning games. We're going to bowl games. We're proving people we belong. So I think we have a great chance. Um, I think this week, if we're just looking at this week, our playoff hopes kind of took a little turn, um, because I had picked Arkansas to beat Notre Dame, but Notre Dame completely blew out Arkansas, and we were extremely fortunate to beat Arkansas in the first place. But um, I think we have a chance to make it to the playoff, and I hope we do. The AAC this year, and even last year, I thought they were, but uh, winning games against SEC opponents, Big 12 opponents, ACC opponents, definitely is huge for the program. With the renovations being almost complete at Simmons Stadium or Liberty Bowl Stadium, you think Memphis could be a football school?
I believe they can be.
I hope they do.
With the expansion of the playoffs, that only helps us. If you go undefeated in the season in FBS, like you have a shot, absolutely. And I've always thought you should. I don't care necessarily how weak your schedule is, but if it's 2 week, absolutely. But like there are so many years Boise State should have been a contender because of what they did. Um, I wish they had had a playoff back then. Um, but with the expansion, if you go undefeated, you should be in the playoffs. I don't
Yeah,
think it should be expanded more because that takes the emphasis off the regular season, which has always been the argument. But I think this is a pretty good number for people who make the playoffs. If you
yeah.
expand it, I think it really does go in the
It
favor
kind
of
of damage it.
the season doesn't matter. Um, so I like where it's at right now, and I think anyone that goes undefeated should be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it definitely damages it if you expand it more. I already said that I think they should just have Power Four or Power Five in the tournament, and then the non-Power Five schools have their own. Because it's just extremely hard. I think we capitalize off of controversy, and so if you have a non-Power Five school that deserves to be in there, and they don't get in, and they may be undefeated, and they played their schedule, the ways they beating everybody in front of them, but they don't get that opportunity. It just sucks for that team, and you can put them against the 13 best SEC, whatever Big 12, ACC team in the nicest bowl, and that's really not the point because you're trying to
Right.
win a championship. And I kind of feel like they need to make two championships. One for the non-power five, and then one for the power. Yeah, one for the power five and one for the non-power five, based off ranking. As if you know, that's just my thoughts on it. Because it's like I hope to God that Memphis Tigers gets there.
Mm,
But there's always going to be a debate where you have a two-loss Notre Dame or a three-loss such and such team versus the Tigers, and it's like, well, who are you going to pick?
yeah.
And you look at like Florida State. If they kept Florida State out, of course, then it wasn't the 12, but they kept Florida State out and they went undefeated.
Right.
And that should not have happened at all. So yeah, I hope they get it. And do you think that the Tigers need to make the playoffs in order to maybe finally get that Power Five invitation?
It certainly won't hurt. Um, I don't know what it's going
I
to take.
think we should already be in there.
They have
I
had
don't, I don't,
they've had a lot of great opportunities that I don't understand why it didn't happen. Um, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take because it's a great school. It's got a great sports program, and it's in a good area for a couple different conferences. I don't understand it. Like I hope it helps, and I hope they do make it playoffs, and they get in a good conference because I really don't understand why they haven't already been accepted to one.
which conference do you think they should be in? Your ACC or Big 12?
I think the ACC would be a good fit for me.
Yeah, I love the ACC. I love to see us in the ACC.
Yeah, I think it's a good fit for basketball and football.
Yep. Yeah, especially for football. I think, you know, well, really, it don't matter, I think, football wise, because I think Silverfield, we're just going to continue to get better and better and better and better. And I think the fans, with the fans, more and more fans coming with the renovations, which look great. I mean, really, the whole area could be used a multitude of ways, for the city, not just football. But I mean, once we get the football rolling, and I mean, the final renderings of Simmons Stadium look completely awesome. and I think fans are really gonna love it, and it's going to increase. You know, it makes me think of basketball. I don't understand. You know, we have Penny Hardaway, who's, I mean, an electrifying player. Everyone knows who he is, but the attendance seems to be inconsistent or low, or you know, not in the Calipari stage. Now it's in like the fives and the six, where at Calipari it was, maybe 13 to 15,000 in the forum, and I don't understand why that's the case. What do you think?
Um, for me, I think it's a couple different factors. Maybe the location of FedEx Forum, and that paired with the level of recruits. So Calipari every year was getting like top 10, a couple like top 10, maybe a top 25 every year. He's going to get
Yeah,
one or two in the top 25 every year. And not everyone wants to drive all the way downtown to watch them if it's not as exciting as that is. That being said, Penny's got great teams every year. He's got good recruits,
yeah,
and they're always going to compete. I'm wondering if it's just the level of recruit that he's not getting a top three consistently. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I think the location of the arena is so far away from a lot of the people that go down to see games. Um, I don't know. I think it's a combo of both. If it were, um, if we were preseason top 10 every year, there'd be people filling up that stadium for sure.
yeah.
So I don't know. It's a combination of a few things.
I think the transfer portal is a big part of it. There's such a massive turnover um, within college sports in general. I mean, we have football programs even today, right now. Even the Tigers, they have like 60, I believe, or 70 new players that mostly came from the transfer portal every year. Um, Penny has pretty much had to rebuild a whole roster, and it's hard to, I guess, have a connection or follow the players. Most of the homegrown talent, they go somewhere else. They'll go to other colleges and do well for themselves. And I encourage that. Of course I would love to see them in Tiger uniform, but go out and experience the world. I say to any high schooler, you know, don't just stay in Memphis your whole life. Go experience other places. Um, and then NIL, obviously, a whole lot of competition. You have players that put themselves in the portal for more NIL money, and they end up in a way screwing themselves with the opportunity they originally had. Always it boggles my mind when a player that didn't get playing time puts themselves in the portal when you would have playing time if you stayed where you were. But then again, you also have coaches that say, hey, maybe you need to change the scenery. Maybe it's time for you to go. You have that aspect too. But I think I think one of the reasons why there's low attendance for the Tigers is because we just don't know the players. Like even the transfer port players right now. I mean, I know we're going to be good, but we could. I don't know. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing. Nobody knows year to year what your team is going to look like. And I think with football, that's always been the case. But I think winning consistently and because there are different measurements of success in basketball and football determines how popular your sport is or the attendance of sports. I think that
Mm.
might be factoring into attendance and things. Like
Yeah.
we should probably have more fans at Liberty Bowl Stadium than we do, you know, currently right now because we've been winning year after year for the last almost 10 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Um,
And, yeah,
that I think the portal has been kind of good and kind of bad because players are able to do what they want now, which they should be able to because like it's their career, their path.
yeah,
But it's also very hard for the fan because I was just thinking about yesterday. Like I don't know any of the players on any of the teams because they're
yeah,
not there for more than 1 or 2 years. I was watching.
yeah,
I was like, oh my goodness, I know what their quarterback's name is. He's been there for 5 years. I know who he is. Like it kind of felt good to know the players on the teams. Um, and now you don't get that anymore, but you also have so much more parity when it comes
yeah,
to like the regular season. The last 2 seasons have been the craziest seasons I've ever seen in college football. Um, like you don't see teams that are winning now against big time schools that you've ever seen win before, and that's because of the portal. Because more players are being seen by more coaches and moving around a lot more. But also, it doesn't help the fan base because they have no idea who's on their team and they don't get to root for that player.
yeah,
If they do, it's only for 1 or 2 years, and then they got to remember a new name every year. So it makes it hard for the fans, and I think it's kind of a double-edged sword because yes, you can bring in new good players every year, but your fan base might not want it because they don't have any idea who's on your team.
no idea.
It gets hard to get behind a team when you don't know who's on that team.
Yeah. It's almost like you're just rooting for the colors.
Right.
Who has the better, like you always know Oregon's gonna have a good team because their colors, their uniforms are great every year. You know, Penn State, they're always great for the whiteouts
Yep.
in their fan base. So you're gonna root for them. Even though you don't know who their players are, and I guess that's what makes it great. Just the tradition of it. But for a team like the Tigers, you want to know who's on the team.
Yeah.
You kind of need to know who's on the team. Who's playing, who. We had what Gainwell, we had um, Travis
Hmm.
Austin. We had a lot of homegrown players that are now in the NFL. That played here and they were pretty much superstars
Yeah.
because we knew who they are. Now at least with this year, we really don't know. I don't know any Memphis native player really on the team. That play a position. Quarterback. Running back, wide receiver, whatever. But I don't know. Sports is all about stories, and if you can't tell a story, you know, you're just playing around. It's just year after year after year.
I think it makes it hard for like the casual fan that really wants to be a fan. Um, when they don't know the players because the turnover is so constant. Like it makes them hard to be engaged when they have to like be more involved just to know who the players are. They want to know who they are, but it's a lot easier when they're there for 4 years instead of 1 or 2.
Yeah,
So it makes them
yeah,
It's a lot easier to be invested when you know who's playing and who they are.
Yeah. So let's talk about your Florida Gators now.
Oh no.
Is Coach Napier? What's going on? What's
I
going
don't.
on in the Gator world?
He's a great guy. He's a
He's a great guy.
he's a really.
That's an indictment.
I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know anyone that doesn't like him. I don't know if he's the answer at this point.
It
Probably.
would be sorrowful if it would be horrible if Silverfield got a phone call. Hey, you want to come coach for Florida?
Hey,
I
that,
would.
that's fine. Yeah, absolutely. Why would he not?
He
Norvell went.
should.
Norvell went to my most hated school. So what's worse than that?
I mean, for Winter, he went to Virginia Tech, and I was a huge Virginia Tech fan. I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
we were dying there. I mean, Beamer, he was on his way out. And Fuente came in there. He had a few good years, and then it just didn't turn out great, But
I don't know.
hey,
Our Gators need some help. I don't know who it's going to come from at this point. Like, I don't know who's going to be a good coach
you
because
had Lagway, you had Richardson, and
who knows?
Florida had some players.
Yeah. I don't know what the answer is because I'm not sure if there is a sure thing when it comes to coaching these days because of the portal and NIL. Like, I think that's why you see a lot of older
I don't
coaches
know.
hiring because it's just a
Oh, Rich,
game.
you know who I'm about to bring up? Michael Vick, Deshaun Jackson, Tim Tebow. You think Tim Tebow? You think Tim Tebow can coach?
I really don't know. I don't know if he's the right fit for a coach. I think
I
maybe
think he's a great motivational speaker. I can listen to him every day, all day.
I agree with that. I don't know if he's a good head coach. He might be a good coordinator or like specialties coach. Maybe
Hype man.
I wouldn't say quarterback coach because I don't know if he has the best technique. Um, but I think he'd be a great coach. I just don't know if head coach would be the right fit for him. But yeah, definitely, he's a great motivator.
I think I don't know what the answer is for Florida. All I know is that the SEC is good right now, but the SEC would be phenomenal if Florida was like back at, just winning and competing at a high level. And the crazy thing is, Florida has all the recruits. I mean, everything is right there.
Yeah,
Everything is right there. All the resources are right there. I don't know what it is.
I don't either. It's they're like you said, the resources are there. We've gone through coach after coach since Urban Meyer. Um, Even though I wasn't a huge Urban Meyer fan, he did great things for football program. But we have not been good since he left, and I'm not sure what the answer is at this point.
Yeah, I guess you can blame Ohio State for that.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I think it's again, NIL and the money. We have so many players now because I watch a lot of basketball podcasts, and they always talk about that there are guys, and in some NFL podcasts too, but there are guys that are more that pretty much are there pretty much for the money, not the love of the game. And I think that's where it is. It's how much money can I get at such and such school, as opposed to just the love of the game. You know, where you go to school and all you had was football. Well, now you got this NIL money, and you might be worried about your apartment or your house or your car or whatever that you got with such and such money, or family members that you're taking care of, this NIL money that you never had before. Now, you know, it's how much money you can get in college. You got guys, what you probably have some more college eligibility left. You could go back on the golf team, Reg, and make money. I don't know. There's so it's crazy. It's crazy.
I think that's why you see so much of what's gone on the last couple of years in college football with the mid-level teams winning against the major schools because
Yeah,
bringing in the guys that want to play football. They're bringing in the guys that want to win. The
yeah,
the big schools are bringing in the guys that want to make money. And so
yeah,
when the group of guys that they only want to win, it doesn't matter if they're as good as the other team. They want to win more, and I
yeah,
think that's why you've seen so many crazy games happen recently.
yeah,
You
yeah,
guys that want to win against
yeah,
a group of guys that are really good, but
yeah,
they want it as much as the other team.
yeah. Like if you're sitting behind a senior, you transfer to another school or a lower school. I mean, Memphis right now, I'm sure their transfer portal is full of Big Ten guys, full of some SEC guys that were just bench warmers, and
Yeah,
now they have an opportunity to play. And they might have been 4-star players, and now they're actually playing. And they're probably juniors, seniors, fifth year seniors, finally with the opportunity to play um, right now. And so those teams like Alabama, Notre Dame, who, struggle and end up not being undefeated, like you said, with the parity that we have in the college football game now, even in college basketball, um, it's definitely there. It's
yeah, I think
definitely there. It makes it interesting to say the least, and the game's fun to watch
yes,
because you just never know. But what makes it great even better or draws more emphasis is the coaching aspect of it. Because I mean, I think Kirby Smart is excellent at just being consistent. Because it doesn't matter what team he has, his team is always, no matter who's on it, it's always going to be there and in the fourth quarter.
yeah.
And I mean, they're what 30 some game winning streak at home was snapped by Alabama,
Mm,
who was full of transfers.
yeah,
Mostly transfers in Alabama,
yeah, not playing that.
and a whole bunch of Georgia players. All it takes is a few people to seep out and go different places,
Yeah,
and that changes everything. So, but that's I don't know. Maybe that's what happened to Florida. Florida will rise again. I know. I
yes,
know. I know it looks bad.
it's all cyclical. They'll come back.
Florida will rise again. Florida is one Appalachian State quarterback away from being,
That's why we love sports.
you know, one quarterback away. I mean, Ole Miss, they're on their second string quarterback. That was, pretty much a transfer, small school. I mean, Tennessee too. I mean, Nico decided he wanted more money, so he went to the most taxed state there is in California, and he's not doing very well. And he's
With
probably
more,
making less money there than he would at, you know, Tennessee.
yeah,
So, hey, Yeah, it
It's
makes
cool.
things interesting.
Yep.
So the Titans, we'll end the podcast with this. What's going on with the Titans?
Oh
What's
my
your,
God.
what's your vibe with them?
I
Is
don't know what to go from the Gators to the Titans. Um, but I don't know. It's been
it's the coaching to me, in my
it,
opinion.
why do we not still have Vrabel? That it's not the coaching, it's the ownership, the GM. Why do we not have Vrabel? Why do we
I
not?
don't know. I mean, you had Tannehill and you had Derrick Henry.
And we had AJ Brown.
Yep. Yeah, and
Yeah.
AJ Brown.
So that was the beginning of
There it is.
that was the beginning.
There's,
Like, why? You have a top 5 receiver in the league who is
and
young.
a great offensive line at that time.
Yes, and he's young and he wanted to be there. Why? Why? What do you do?
I don't understand it. And then they bring in the quarterback. As I was watching the game today, it was like because I mean I think Houston was like the perfect opponent for them because Houston hasn't played great at all this year, and but there was a point in the game, and it was like 3rd and 11 in the third quarter, early in the third quarter, and they run a running play, and I'm like, what? What kind of play call? What are we doing? And they only get 2 or 3 yards out of it, but you're only down 9 points or 6 points. It was like 6-0. What are we doing? Like why? And I think there was a video of the team ran out and then the coach ran out and there was a whole bunch of boos. I don't get it.
Oh no,
I don't. I don't get it.
it's not a good situation. Um, they're building a new stadium, I guess, so people can watch them lose in a better stadium. They've got to do something because what they're doing right now is not good. Uh,
Yeah,
that I have not agreed with many decisions in the last few years. I wasn't big on Cam Ward, but I've been pretty impressed with him so far. So he might actually be a great quarterback. But as far as everything else goes, Tony Pollard's amazing. I love him. Uh,
yeah, yeah.
he's been really
Go
good.
Tigers.
I was excited to get him a couple years ago, but yeah, I don't know what the answer is. It's like it's not good. We can't win a game. We don't have hardly any pieces to build off of. So I don't know. And we seem to think that it's good to get rid of our best players.
Uh, Sounds like Jerry Jones just seemed to seep his influence down to the Tennessee area and just I don't know infiltrate our front offices. Well, things will get better. I was really hoping for the Titans not to have like a complete rebuild because I think Tony Pollard is a big piece to the puzzle if they're able to build around the offensive line. And I thought they did have some solid receivers, too, some young receivers, young veteran
we
receivers in there.
The receivers have actually been catching the ball this year, which I have not seen in a lot of years. So that's actually very positive because in the years
Yeah,
past, there were balls that this year are being caught that were not caught in the last 5 years.
yeah. I think the Titans are really just missing that defensive superstar. That one that they're missing that Micah Parsons. They're missing that Javon Curse.
Mm-hmm.
That you know where you can just rally behind and believe. I think some teams that are in the mid stage of rebuilding and reshaping whatever they're trying to do is they just need to believe just to have hope. Like what's going on in Chicago with the Bears, they seem to believe, now with the new coach, they won 2 games in a row, and their seasons is looking better. And I think the Titans are like right there. I thought they would be better. I picked them to win today. On the road versus you know Houston, who has their own issues. They still got issues over in Houston. I
Yeah.
feel like, in my opinion. But I think with the Titans, it's really just a matter of coaching. I just don't believe the players believe in the coaching.
Yeah, I don't either. I was upset about Vrabel being let go. Did not see the reason for that. Um, I know he wanted more control over personnel, and they didn't want.
As should. I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely. He's the head coach. He's the one that's
yeah,
leading the team. He should get his personnel that he wants.
yeah,
And he was a great coach. I thought he did a fantastic job. There were so many games that we had no business winning or even being in that he
yeah.
won because of his coaching. And I don't know. I don't think that the head office is doing a great job in making decisions.
Yeah, I think there was a huge divide between Vrabel, who has, of course, Super Bowl experience as well, and the front office. Because I mean, I know just from looks, and it's I know you can't just go based off of looks, but anytime there's like the draft, or you look into draft rooms or whatever, they just I look at Vrabel and everyone else, and it's just like, okay, I'm not with this. I don't think this is, maybe the right pick. I don't, Levis, for example, we really going with the Kentucky guy, as a quarterback, and I don't know.
Kentucky has a great legacy of spitting out good quarterbacks.
All right, and then all right. I think Ward is good though. I mean, he shows a lot of leadership. He shows a lot of poise and patience in the pocket. They got a good defensive offensive line. Defense, they can be better, but we'll see. How the draft goes, and how they play. They definitely had their wide receiver opportunities, and things, and there's definitely some potential there of guys that are known, quote unquote, no names right now, but they probably will become um, something in the near future. So we'll see how it goes, man. Florida Gators, Titans, they will rise again. They will rise again, and Tigers, as long as they keep winning, Memphis Tiger football program, basketball program, the forward trajectory. I'll give you the final word. Um, as this relates to sports in some ways about the National Guard. I think this, part of part of this started when there was conversation and Stephen A. Smith brought up, how players feel like it's not safe. Players don't want to come to Memphis, play for the Grizzlies because it's not safe. Of course, I disagree with that. Every city has its issues, has its problems, but just what do you think about the whole National Guard situation and safety in Memphis as it relates to, sports venues and things like that?
um, that's a good question. It's like safety is a big issue, and when there are places that are unsafe, I don't know what the best way to deal with that is. It's been a while since I've been downtown to, uh, sorry,
Yeah. Yeah.
FedEx Forum. So I don't really know. Like it's something that I wish didn't have to happen. But I'm not sure of all the circumstances and everything going on.
Yeah, I have zero problem with it at all. But it doesn't make me want to attend more games because there's increased police presence. I think it's great that it's there. Um, I mean, I'll share my experience. The last time I went to the FedEx Forum and I took my daughter to a Grizzly game, the parking space where I was parked, all the cars in that parking lot, or some of the cars, were broken into. I don't want to take my children in a place where there's potential danger.
Yeah,
I know danger is everywhere, but there's some places where this should not happen, and it happened.
right,
And so I have zero problem with the National Guard being a presence. I think it's kind of being overblown as far as the scope of what they can do. But I think if it is a deterrent for people to act a fool downtown or sporting events or anywhere, then it's a good thing. It's a great thing for Memphis. I think maybe maybe that's the reason why FedEx Forum isn't filled um every game, or for Tiger games or whatever. I don't know. Maybe that's why Memphis, the ticket prices are so low, which I hope they stay low. But anyway, I don't know. I
selfishly.
think, yeah, selfishly, I think the National Guard is going to do a lot of good. I think they're going to do a lot of good. I'm not worried about it because I'm not the one being the problem, and so, uh, yeah, that's just my thoughts on the National Guard. Um, all in any case, I hope that peace and justice comes to the city of Memphis for those that are suffering. And safety is a great thing. It's not a bad thing.
Absolutely.
I think some people are making safety look so horrible, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't make any sense at all. But
No, I think getting rid of crime is a good thing.
yeah, absolutely.
So the safer we
Yeah,
can make it for our kids is the best way forward.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's good talking to you, Mike, on the Mike podcast sports show. Uh, Make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast, uh, and comment. Leave your comments, thoughts, suggestions. We will have more guests with the NBA season coming up, and of course, we'll bring on our golf extraordinaire, Mike Reginald, with major golf events and talk about the spirit of the game, the beauty of the game of golf, and how we need more golf on television, more Ryder Cup formats, and it's some great things going on. I think in our next podcast we'll talk about the great events and things going on in the city of Memphis as it relates to golf. Penny is, in a sense and in a way, become the face of golf for the city, as far as like promoting. I think um, he's been, his plate is full. He's been asked to do a lot of things, but there are a lot of people. There's a lot of collaboration I see in the city of Memphis as it relates to golf. There's a new golf course, I believe, planned in West Memphis. They'll be developing probably in a year or so. So That's exciting news to hear. But like and subscribe to my podcast, Mike Sports Podcast, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks, Rich.
Thanks for having me. Enjoyed it as always.
All right.